Not all stories start with a bang. Some stories start with a squeak. The mouse was acting very peculiar. Anxiously, it scampered for the safety of Grayson's cloak. And even stranger still, Grayson didn't recognise where they were. Swiftly standing to attention, Grayson surveyed the room. It was odd. The place felt familiar, yet unfamiliar at the same time. Each bolstered by the other, and ready or not, Grayson and the mouse strode on, unsure of what lay ahead. Grayson began to wake. His body ached, and his bones rattled. Blearily, he examined the grim night before him. As his dreams quickly faded from memory, he remembered his goal. If he wanted to see his father again, to get even one step closer to home, he needed to get into that pub. But how? Who would leave a perfectly good pair of hoof nippers just lying around, Grayson thought. Grayson wasn't that hungry. There was nothing to be done. Grayson liked to run his fingers along the metal railings, but it wasn't the time. Grayson was too young for a smoke. The barrel was too heavy. It seemed a very big door for a mouse, so small. Grayson didn't want to get too close. The chef might have seen him. The metal railings were fixed into the wall. The top of one had been shorn to a sharp edge. Grayson liked to run his fingers, but it wasn't the Grayson had no horse to tether. The Geordie lamp. Grayson needed to find a way in. Grayson didn't think that would help. The downpipe was heavy with quick-flowing rainwater that gushed into the drain. There was a large pile of cigarettes on the ground. The chef must have been a heavy smoker. Newcastle was an industrial city. There was plenty of ash to go around. The mouse was too young to start. A small pile of ash had amassed on the windowsill. The crates were perfectly stacked. Grayson didn't want to ruin them. There were no horses, but you never know when something might need a good nip. Grayson. It didn't look useful. It didn't work. There was nothing to be done.
Yeah, how do we, man? What's it been like you don't know this time of need, eh? Oh, bloody hell. Reet, where you's best gone, yem. Oh, sorry, you're not understanding me accent, like. Yeah, how's about this then? Go home.
The mouse had just gotten over a cold. It seemed wise to keep its distance. A heavy-set man stood blocking the doorway, sniffling angrily under the peak of his flat cap.
Go home. Oh.
There must have been another way. It didn't work. It didn't work. That wasn't going to work. It didn't look useful. The barrel was too heavy to move. There must have... That wasn't going to work. That wasn't going to work. A warm orange glow. The lantern was too high. The crates were perfectly stacked. Grayson The mouse wasn't sure how it could help. It didn't look useful. The mouse squeaked. Something about the railings seemed useful. Grayson liked to run his fingers along the metal railings, but it wasn't the time. Grayson didn't think that would work. The mouse squeaked. Something about the railings seemed useful. It didn't look... One of the railings had been shorn into a sharp edge. The mouse shrugged, unsure how it could help. The day's market must have been eventful, Grayson thought, staring at the broken table. Grayson wasn't that hungry. The mouse shuddered. Horses like to stomp. The mouse didn't like stompers. Iron horse tethers were fixed onto the market wall. One hung loosely from its fitting. A horse must have bolted, Grayson thought. It didn't work. Must have been another way. Grayson didn't think that would work. The bag was cold and wet to touch. Grayson tossed it aside. The tin was stuck. Grayson would have to find another way to dislodge it. It didn't work. The tin was warped, its lid fixed in place. It was too difficult to open by hand. That wasn't going to work. Grayson couldn't get the angle right. He needed another way to open the tin. That did the trick. The lid flew off the tin, leaving its base intact. Must have been another way. Grayson wasn't sure. That wasn't going to work. The barrel was too heavy to move. The barrel was too heavy to move. It didn't look useful. Grayson didn't think that would work. Grayson didn't. Must have been another way. It didn't work.
I'm cooking, man! Can't run the front!
Vaseline covered the inside of the tin. What does Dad call it? Grayson thought. Petroleum? Grayson didn't think that. It didn't work. It didn't work. That wasn't going to work. Must have been another way. There was nothing to be done. The man looked like he could do with some Vaseline, but Grayson thought it might come in handy for something else. It didn't. No opposable thumbs. The mouse was stumped. Grayson turned the knob as far as he could and pushed. Locked. That wasn't going to work. Maybe this is my way in, Grayson pondered. The mouse had never been keen on sewers. Grayson didn't think that would work. The mouse had quit years. The mouse seemed to stick out its tongue, mocking the chef. The window was thick with steam, obscuring Grayson from the chef. Grayson didn't want to get too close. The chef might have seen him.
Away, man!
Grayson turned the knob as far as he could and pushed. Locked. It didn't look useful. It didn't. Grayson had no horse to tether. The Geordie lamp. Grayson needed to get in. The Geordie lamp. Grayson liked to run his finger, but it wasn't the time. The mouse squeaked. Something about the railings seemed useful. It didn't work. There was an impressively large pipe. It did. The bung was stubborn. It wasn't going anywhere without a fight. It didn't work. After an initial struggle, the bung popped from the barrel and out poured its sweet-smelling contents.
Huh? What's that going on down there? I hear some noise, eh? Ah, it's those bloody urchins again, I bet. Yeah! If I see yous again, yous are can in the soup, burning butter special.
Eric! What the bloody hell are you doing, man? That stew should have been done an hour ago. Get in and get to work.
Doyle.
I am coming. I was just sorting the special ingredient.
That did the trick. The chef left the door wide open. Grayson was elated. But it began to dawn on him. The chef was still at his station, alert as ever. Grayson needed a distraction. Hang on, Grayson thought.
Better leave us alone, like.
What's that sound? Ash, hot with ember, floated down, extinguishing on the barrel's sodden top. An idea began to form in Grayson's mind. With a plan in place, Grayson and the mouse got to work. Grayson considered the ash. It didn't work. It did. The mouse preferred to keep its natural. As the glowing ash fell to the surface of the barrel, it sizzled, rainwater snuffing out the ember. Grayson considered the ash. What to do, Grayson thought. The barrel sat below the window. Ash, red with ember, drifted down from the chef's cigarette, landing softly on its top. Grayson needed to get into the pub, but first, the chef needed to go. Grayson couldn't reach the shelf without being spotted, It required a discreet solution. What a leap! The mouse had done it. Now it was time to get to work. The shelf was half collapsed on one side, held up by a sack of flour. The mouse cocked its head curiously. It seemed to be devising a plan. The bottle was far too heavy to push. The mouse had to find another way to get it to grip. Bloody thing won't stay shut. I'll sort it later. I'm behind as it is. What? How the...
Eric? What? God's sake, man! This place is a mess!
It wasn't me, Addy. It was...
I don't want to hear it, Eric. Get this cleaned up. That soup ready.
It's not right yet. It needs to reduce. Just a little bit long.
Leave it. Just... leave it. Wait there.
So this... Oof, yeah, that's the stuff. That'll get me through. Back to work. The chef was in the way. Grayson had to get rid of him. I can't take that, Grayson thought. The kitchen would go dark. Then the chef would surely notice. The chef was tipsy, but the gin was well within eyeline. Grayson needed a distraction.
You no stinging rat! Get out me kitchen! I'll kill...
Eric, are you daft? What are you doing and get to work? Please!
Sorry, Mara. Back to it! You no stinging rat! Get out me kitchen! I'll kill...
Eric, are you daft? What are you doing and get to work? Please!
Sorry, Mara. Back to it!
The lamp was the only light source in the kitchen. Grayson couldn't take it. The mouse had never been fond of fire. The oil lamp burned brightly, illuminating the kitchen. The broom was leaning against the kitchen counter. The mouse wasn't sure how it could help. The mouse wasn't sure how it could help. The mouse chirped to it, seemingly proud of the demolition. The chef looked content, in a dizzy, angry sort of way. Grayson didn't think that would work. That wasn't going to work. The chef was in the way. Grayson had to get rid of him. Grayson had never been keen. The mouse wasn't sure. The broom was leaning against the kitchen counter. That wasn't going to work. It didn't work. The chef was in. Grayson. It didn't work. A heavy-set man sniffling.
Go home.
That wasn't going to work. That wasn't going to work. There was nothing to be done. That wasn't going to work. Grayson didn't think that. A small tower of crates was placed next to the kitchen doorway. The mouse wasn't sure how it could help. Grayson didn't think. Grayson didn't think that would work. That wasn't going to work. The smell of alcohol, it must have been very strong stuff. The mouse wasn't sure how it could. Grayson had never been. The mouse had never been. It didn't look useful. It didn't look useful. What does Dad call it? Grayson thought. Petroleum? That wasn't going to work. The mouse had never been fun. It didn't look useful. It didn't work. Must have been another way. The smell of alcohol seemed to permeate through the bottle. It must have been very strong stuff. It didn't work. Must have been another way. The mouse had never been. The lamp was the only light source in the kitchen. Grayson couldn't take it. That wasn't going to work. The oil lamp burned brightly, illuminating the kitchen. Grayson removed the lid. Empty. Well, except for some wood shavings. Grayson placed the wood shavings in his satchel. That wasn't going to work. Grayson didn't think that would work. Grayson didn't think that would work. There must have been another way. It didn't look useful. Grayson didn't think that would work. Must have been another way. That wasn't going to work. It didn't look useful. The wood shavings were alight. But it didn't look particularly impressive. How can I aggravate the flames? Grayson thought.
Aye, crisis averted. Aye. Shit.
Eric, where are you? Why is this kitchen still a mess? What?
Addy, Mara, now listen. I don't know what's been happening.
Don't marry me, you shit! You're sacked! Done! Finished! Gone! Before I wring your sodden neck!
Addy, please, just hear me out, like... Rats! What if it was... rats? All along.
Yeah!
Bloody hell!
Right. Yeah.
Grayson felt ready, anxious, determined. Looking down at the mouse once again, one bolstered by the other, they entered the pub, ready to meet their fate head-on. Just one more step on the road back home, back to Grayson's father.